Hello and welcome. This character profile video is for the class Legatus, and what you'll see is all of his skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, his skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I give you the class Legatus. Here we go. And welcome to the skill slide. If this is your first time viewing my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side are all of his skills. On the far right side are all the specials that connect to those skills. The column after skill is charges, that's how many times you can use the skill. And then hits is how many times the skill will hit a creature or opponent. And the column damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course the passive at the bottom. And we will cover the passive in the PvP slide. So don't worry, it's coming. But let's go ahead and introduce a few other things that while you're looking at this. First of all, if you look on the specials and you see where it says max 2 attacks for lightning crash, and it's highlighted in green, that means if you tap that skill, he will attack once. But if you tap and hold, he will attack twice. So it's a maximum of 2 attacks, but you gotta hold down the skill button when you're doing it. The other one is super armor, and the legend at the bottom left corner, it just means that the super armor is not applied in arena. Everywhere else in the game it will work for you and be there for you, but just not in arena. And I will go over why Spearbolt and Lightning Crash are colored yellow. I mean, it's connected to the passive, and I wanted to talk about Imprison, but we're gonna reserve that one as well for the PvP section. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we're gonna go on to the top 8 PvE skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PvE slide. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized it according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage all the way down to the lowest. And Sentinel Beam is your highest single point damaging skill. So I also want to point out that the Legatus has a pet, so to say. His name is Arkanon, and it's a how do you describe this? If you put a star on your Christmas tree but you turn it sideways and you have it spinning like a UFO, that's Arkanon. And he's in the sky, and he'll come out when you hit Sentinel Beam or Lightning Sentinel. I mean, because he's a Sentinel. And that's why I put Summon Arkanon, so you're aware of, oh yeah, okay, those are the ones where he comes out. So that's why that's there. And let's see, what else? Not much else. There's a lot to go over in the PvP section, but the reason why this area is colored green is we can only take 8 skills into the game world. So these are the 8 that I recommend based on percentage that the Pearl Abyss is showing me. So these are the ones that you would want to mess around with, and over time you'll come up with the ones that you personally like. So you don't have to stick with this. It's like, where do I start? Start with these. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the top 8 PvP skills that I recommend. Here we go. And welcome to the PvP slide. I've hinted at this slide enough. So, alright, first things first. We took all the skills and we organized it according to the column of damage-PVP, from the highest percentage all the way down to the lowest, just like the PvE one. And Spearbolt is the highest percentage damage skill that's at the top. So there's a lot to cover here, so I'm going to start with yeah, I'm gonna go with the obvious, and that is everyone who does PvP always wants to know, hey, what super armor can I use in arena and anywhere in the game. So I'm not used to this only works in arena and this doesn't. So I'm happy to tell you that Spear Bolt is your highest damaging skill and gives you super armor. It has something that I don't understand and I want to bring to your attention, and that is it says when powered it equals 140% damage and incoming attack range, or excuse me, increased attack range. So I don't understand when it's powered. I think that would be when your passive is active, and we will go over that. So that would be my guess, is when your passive is active and you use Spear Bolt, it does this 140% damage and increase attack range. So anyone who is using him will know this over time. The other thing is, let's see, well, I mean, there's a couple super armors. You got the Spear Bolt, you got the second best one, Thunderbird, that gives you super armor, and quite honestly, this one looks like the better pick for getting your super armor out because you're invincible. You could get a bound on hit on your opponent, you get your super armor, and you can hold the skill button to teleport to your target, or choose not to. But hey, the whole goal is to get super armor and then get going on your opponent in arena. So that would be what I suggest, and as you can see, there's a couple of them that give you super armor. There's Imprison and there's Thunderclap. So that's 4 of them right there. Really nice. The other thing is, let's go back and talk about Imprison. So I want you to check something out for me, please. This says that 50% damage add after another skill is used. And because of the way that I am, I read things differently, like 2 ways. So does this mean that you do this skill, and if you do another skill immediately, you will get 50% of Imprison's damage added on to the other skill you just did? So is it that way, or are they saying if you do this skill, say PVE at 563%, and you immediately do another skill, then that 563% is going to get cut in half to 231.5. That's good math. So I don't understand which way it is. If I sit down and I take a still target and test this out, then I would know. So that would be my suggestion. And let us, since we're on the subject, go over the passive. So I'm going to just read it to you. What I did is I summarized it on the right side of passive. When hit every 10 seconds, or when your MP is over 80, and you use Lightning Crash or Spear Bolt, this is how you activate your passive. There's no visual indicator to know except your MP bar at the bottom when your passive is active. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause this slide. I'm going to cut to a video that I have for you that shows gameplay of using your passive. But before we do that, I want you to watch one thing. If you look in the definition for the passive, and you look at the last sentence where it says decrease Lightning Crash cooldown by 5 seconds upon using Lightning Crash, or Spear Bolt for 4 seconds, I'm going to make sense of that, but Lightning Crash has a 6-second cooldown, and if you take 5 of it away, that means it's a 1-second skill. And that's how you know your passive is active. And I'm going to show that to you. So let me cue it up. And 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so my MP is below 80. And I want these guys to hit me 10 times. And I'm watching my MP gauge. The minute it goes off to the right, I'm going to hit Lightning Crash. That's the first skill on the right side. So it looks like It looks like my MP is all the way full. So let's... 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. And the actual skill. That was 4 seconds of my passive, and using it, you can use it twice. So there's 2 charges. So that was 5 hits in 5 seconds. That is what you're looking for. And again, Lightning Crash is a pretty hefty skill at over 1000%, and it's pretty decent at 867% PvP. So let's go ahead and get back to the PvP slide. We could do this all day. And welcome back to the PvP slide. So we're only here temporarily. I wanted to take a moment to address the passive some more. And I'm going to show you the actual screen where all this information comes from. And then I'm going to show you the same screen, but I put in a little text document that makes it more clear for me, and hopefully it is more clear for you. So let's go ahead and let me cue that up for you as well. So give me a second. Here we go. Okay, here we are. We're on the skill screen, and if you look at your passive, it is showing, it's called the Eye of Thor, or yeah. And so it says through the Eye of Thor gains deep insight and observation to analyze enemies and spot weaknesses. So they have 2 sections, an analyze and a penetrate. So the analyze, it says recover all MP when hit every 10 seconds, and the below that is recover 20 MP on hit, not applied during penetrate. And on penetrate it says when your MP is over 80 and you use lightning crash or spear bolt, consume all MP and apply the following effects: disable all debuffs, damage against monsters plus 15% for 10 seconds, and decrease lightning crash cooldown by 5 seconds upon using lightning crash or spear bolt for 4 seconds. So let me bring up the screen with the text document and I'll show you how that makes sense to me. Here we go. And here we are. Same screen, except now I just wanted to see if this will be a lot more clear for you. So activating your passive is if you're hit every 10 seconds and you recover all your MP or magic, or the blue bar at the bottom. If you recover it all, that's when you know your passive is activated. The second way is you recover 20 MP on hit when your MP is below 80. So when you see that jump, that would be another way that you know your passive is active. There's no visual cue, so quite honestly the blue bar, it looks like that's what you're going by when you just see it almost all the way full. And then the third one is when your MP is over 80 and use either the skill lightning crash or spear bolt, the following effects apply. I already read that to you. The debuffs, damage against monsters, and this is where I made sense of it. Lightning crash cooldown is set to 1 second upon using lightning crash or spear bolt, and it's a duration of 4 seconds. So I the suggestion there, highly recommend lightning crash because the passive affects its cooldown. It doesn't affect the cooldown for spear bolt. That's just a combo move. If you use spear bolt and then you intend to go into lightning crash, I guess you're activating it. So the suggestion is use lightning crash. You've already seen the video on what it can do, so hopefully this makes sense. You are paying attention to the blue bar at the bottom, and just when you see it go full and such, go crazy. So let's go ahead and finish up on the PvP slide. We've talked a lot about it, and we'll move on with the video. Here we go. And welcome back to the PvP slide. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the slide for the skill combos. Here we go. Here we go, and welcome. So before I explain what you're looking at, allow me to show you where it's at. If you go into the game and you hit the menu screen and you go to your skills, and you look to the middle of the screen and look down, you'll see a magnifying glass, and to the right of that it'll say skill combos. That's what I did here. You tap on that and it'll bring up the list of skill combos. What I've done is I've put it all on one screen, so you don't have to scroll up and down. Quite honestly, you can print this out and have it with you so you can try out all these combos. Now, the way that Pearl Abyss designed this is the skill on the left in blue is what you'd start out with, and then the icon is to chain into or do the next skill is in gray on the right side. So if we take Spearbolt as the example, they're saying you would do Spearbolt, and since you can do it twice, I guess I'd have to go back and look. You chain into 2 Spearbolts, and or you can do Spearbolt into Divine Punishment or Spearbolt into Lightning Crash. This is for people who choose this character and just want to get in and learn how combos work. So this is a screen that Pearl Abyss put together as a suggestion to try these things. You know, try Lightning Crash into Spearbolt or Lightning Crash into Divine Punishment and see what you think. Probably on creatures, and when you get really good, then go into other players and see how that works. So take a moment to look at this screen, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. If you are new to this slide, allow me to introduce the interface here. On the left are all of his skills. On the far right is all of the branch damage connected to those skills. And in the center is 4 columns. The first, second, and fourth one, I make things that help your character. The third column is things that happen to the creature or opponent or player's opponent you're fighting. Sometimes it doesn't turn out that way all the time. Like, for example, let's look at Divine Punishment, the third one down. The fourth column says crit chance minus 5% for 5 seconds on hit. I certainly hope that doesn't apply to you and your character. Why would you want a negative 5% crit chance? That's because it affects the creature or player's opponent that you're fighting. So just didn't fit it all into that one column. And the way that this works, if you're new to the game with enhancements, is you need to farm creatures in the world of Elion or in Hadum, and in treasure chests you'll get skill books. In the world of Elion, you get those skill books as normal regular drops, and it's random on what those skill books are, but you apply them to you go to your skill screen and you apply the skill books, and you raise the level of being able to unlock these skills. When you're looking at the skill screen and you're looking at a particular skill, if it has a number that's colored red next to it, like say 2 or 3, that means you have to put skill books in to up to level 2 or 3, then spend silver to unlock it and learn it. So, that's how that works. Your goal is to unlock all of these enhancements. They're not just given to you. What I've done is I put them here for you to plan on which ones you want to do first. For example, I've colored Thunderbird in red because I wanted you to see something about that enhancement. The burn damage, how it's 120 damage every 1 second for 3 seconds. I'm telling you, all these character profile videos I've done, he gets the special card of double the burn damage, and it makes sense for that skill. So if it were me, I would see if I can unlock that enhancement. Some of them are for free, you just spend silver, and there's no level requirement. That's what I meant by free. And others you do, but if you can get this one unlocked right away, it's really worth it. You see the lightning sentinel above? Its burn damage is just 60, and that's common for everyone. They only have 60 damage, but he has double. So there's a lot of great things to unlock. You know, even underneath Thunderbird is the skill now affects one additional target if you're someone who wants to use him for farming. So this may be of interest to you. So take a moment to, before I go into that spiel, look over to Lightning Crash, the 4th skill down, all the way over to the right, where it says heal 220 HP per hit. The reason heal is colored that way is because if you choose this character for your Path of Glory, he won't heal himself when he uses this skill. That's why it's colored that way. Everywhere else in the game, he will heal himself when you unlock the enhancement for the heal and you use that skill. So, want to bring that to your attention. So, once again, take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we're going to move on to the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. It is like a baseball card. It is all the screens that you saw all put together on one screen. And there's something new in here as well. So if you're that type of person who's interested in this character and you just don't have enough time, you can print this out, you can take a glance at it, and then when you have time you can come back and listen to all the details about this character that I put together for you. But let's go over everything that you see. So at the top are the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. To the right of that is something new. It's called Immobilization. So anytime you use a skill that stuns, knockdown, freeze, bound, anything that knocks you up in the air, it immobilizes the person or creature you're fighting. If you have one, it's listed as green you do, red you don't. And if you do, how many of those do you have? And it looks like Imprison is the one that has the most. It has 2 immobilizations. So if we look down in the skills, it has daze on first hit and bound on last hit. Now, why is this important? For the PvP section, if somebody is rotating their super armor all the time, your goal is to do as many immobilization moves as possible. So Imprison's gonna be one of those things, so you can stack the odds in your favor. So what you're hoping for is, as you do immobilizations, you might catch them where their super armor runs out, needs to be refreshed, and you'll get them. And you'll know this because they'll get knocked down or knocked up. They'll get immobilized. And you can swoop in and get in a lot of good hits. And, that'd be a good time for Lightning Crash. Just tag, 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 dead. So, this is how Immobilization section works. You know about the skills, you know about the enhancements. There's a legend below that on what's not applied in Path of Glory and not applied in Arena. And don't take the colors of the skills like Thunderbird or Imprison, red meaning they don't apply in Arena. No, that was just something I wanted to bring to your attention. It's what's in the special section, and anything I have in enhancements that's colored red, that's where the legend applies. So if you're wondering what forward guard and super armor mean, you've heard this video and you're like, dude, I have no idea what this means. Forward guard means incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. The way it works is if someone's directly in front of you, think of having like a shield in front of you, and they're trying to beat on you or attack you, but they're really attacking the shield. That's why the damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Now there really isn't a shield that you can see, but this is how I explain forward guard. Now, if they're in front of you, to the right of you, or left, and they still try to attack you, chances are this will still happen in your favor. But if they get behind you, anywhere behind you, then they're gonna do their damage and it's gonna hurt. So, forward guard, that is the definition. Super armor, this means that incoming damage will be reduced and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. This is why everyone who does PvP makes sure that they rotate super armor in their skills all the time. So attack, super armor refresh, attack, super armor refresh. We don't know how long super armor lasts, but it never hurts to make sure you always have it. So take a moment to look at this, and when you're ready, the music is going to change, and we're going to go into the gameplay video where we show you, at long last, what Legatus can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. Before we get started, let us show you where we're located. We're over here in Balanos, and we are at Kron Castle entrance, and we're here because we're always here. We love it here. And their CP is that low, and our CP is that high. So we're gonna have some fun. So what we do is we use this auto path for Kron Castle entrance. We'll have them fight for about 2-3 minutes, at which time we'll go back to town. I'll get my outro and say thank you. So without further ado, I give you the class Legatus. Here we go. Just about ready to head back to town. Wasn't that a lot of fun? There we go. So while the loading screen comes up, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like my videos, please subscribe, like, let people know. I'm always making more videos, and dang if this one wasn't fun. I really like this guy. He's got style. So what we do is we put the camera in like a display. We show them off, maybe zoom in a little bit more so we can really get a zoom in on that armor. Yeah, maybe a little bit out. And we'll have him give a wave. There we go. And once again, thank you. You all have a great night. Take care. Have fun. Bye now.